which is a burn debuff basically. Boom. So today we're going to be doing a showcase on Adam, an SSR fire mage unit. Now Adam is a very strong burst unit that does a lot of AoE damage and can also apply fire on the field. So let's go see where his stat line gets ranked. So for his stats, his HP is ranked as a B, his physical attack is a C, magical attack as S. He's a mage, right? So he's going to be specializing in magic damage, which is really good. So S. Physical defense B, which is actually pretty decent for mages. Mages are really squishy. He's not squishy. His magical defense is S, and his concentration, which is crit, is A. That's key, guys, the tankiness to this guy, because it actually flows really well with his passive. And he has great attack, really good defenses for a mage, and this is why it's so key to have good defenses on him, because of his passive, which is right here, Priest of the Sun. Before we move on, guys, I'd appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel. Hope we'll get to 1,000 subscribers. It'd mean the world to me if you guys can help me get there, so make sure you guys press that subscription button and help your boy out. So his passive ability here, Priest of the Sun. So the way that passive works is that as long as his HP is above 50%, his magic attack will have an increase in percentage, right? Now the thing about him is when he falls below 50%, this is where he becomes really good and broken, honestly, especially in PvP. You can actually restore his HP back to full. He buffs himself for 2 turns, and he puts on this buff called the Blessing of the Sun, and this effect can be triggered every 4 turns, and it can be lower the more ranks you get on it. And what Blessing of the Sun is it increases all his stats by 10%, but not his HPs. So you can actually build him a bit tanky if you like, so it can be harder for them to kill him the second time around, or hard for them to proc that passive, because he's already pretty tanky as it is, and he does a lot of damage. So Adam does a lot of damage, brings tankiness, and he increases his stat line even more. So for him to do even more damage, it gets kind of bonkers. And for his talents, I have it mainly as far as I can go, guys. I'm trying to get this move, which is so good. What it does is it does damage to everyone, and it actually causes the terrain to have flame on the ground, and if they step on it, they suffer a 24% loss of HP if they step on that fire. And it's an AoE damage that does good damage too, so it's actually really good and one of his key moves, to be honest. But I haven't been able to get there yet, but once I unlock that, guys, I will definitely be showing you guys this beast of a move. I'll do like a second showcase of these characters with their ultimates too, because he has his ultimate right here. So his ultimate, the Flames of the Sun, does damage to everybody, huge damage, and applies fire on them for 2 turns. Really good. Obviously, you know, you got to get charges to do your ultimate, but huge AoE damage he does, and I will show you guys also that. So those are like his 2 main key abilities. As far as early game, this is the abilities I'm going to be using on him, guys, so let's go over that. So his first ability I have here is the Spirit of Courage, which basically just buffs an ally and gives attack buff for 2 turns. It's okay. I mean, it's whatever, right? He doesn't have the best moves early game, but late game he becomes a problem. He actually does have a really good move here though, called the Art of Good Fortune, which basically does an attack, right, and he removes buffs from the target, two buffs, and he also applies a support ability called Spaces of Fire. And what Spaces of Fire does, as long as an ally is within 2 ranges of you, whenever your ally attacks after he uses the Art of Good Fortune, he will actually come into the battle with his ally and buff their damage by 10% more of an increase overall. So this is really good. It's just like Nola, but Nola only does the crit. He does straight up just 10% more damage increase. I'd say this is probably one of the best moves. Then we also have a Ball of Fire, which is basically just a ball of fire, a single target attack that does damage and applies fire to them. And if you want to go more of an AoE build, you can actually replace the Ball of Fire and actually go with a Storm of Flames, which does damage to all enemies. Also gets rid of 1 buff that they have. And he also has this passive that I unlock, which gives him 8% more magic defense, but I don't wear that, so I'm just gonna put this, and we're just gonna rock that for now and give him the AoE attack. As far as his equipment, I got it maxed out at 55 right now. I know it can go up to 47, but I got to take on some really hard bosses that I'm having a tough time taking down to get the materials in order to level up these equipment. But eventually I will be able to take them down, and in the second showcase I will show you guys better equipment levels. But this is not too bad, honestly. It's not too far off. And as far as runes, what I'm running on him right now is the Sandglass, because I just want to lower his cooldowns as much as possible so he can keep proccing the damage buff ability for everyone, and just removing those buffs, and just keep doing more AoE damage if it's a bunch of enemies. And it's situational. You can also bring in the Ball of Fire just to do single target if you don't need that AoE move, and that also benefits off of this. So what this set does, Sandglass, the 2 set gives him magic penetration by 5%, and the 4 set is 50% chance to reduce cooldown time for affected skills by 2, which is really good, which is hit most of his abilities which have a 2-turn cooldown. But there's actually a decent amount of sets that you can run on him, guys, which the 2-piece gives him magic attack by 5%, and the 4-piece increases his damage done by 10% when using skills, and increases damage done by 5% when using range skills. So you know, there's a decent amount of ways. The way I'm gonna build him for this showcase is Sandglass, just to get the cooldown reductions. And then I'm also gonna have, if I had an extra piece of copper, I would have put it in the slot 5, and that's where I would have had it, so he can get the 2-piece magic attack by 5%. So now that we got that out the way, guys, let's go ahead and showcase the boy Adam. Okay, so this Adam isn't actually mine. You can actually use this Adam in the game itself. They actually let you trial him. So let's go ahead and use this move where it leaves fire on the ground that I talked to you guys about earlier. It's called the Eternal Fire and Earth. So let's go ahead and do that. As you guys can see, you can pick in which direction you want to go, right, left, up, straight, and then it leaves a 3x3 radius in front of you guys. So it does initial damage at first. Boom, that's it right there. That's the animation, leaves the fire on the ground. People stepping up, they're gonna get hit up. Boom, 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 right? And then he's gonna take also the fire damage. So you love to see it. It actually changes the way the players and enemies are gonna be playing around you. More PvP, honestly, because if this fire stays on the ground, it's just damage, you know, that you're just gonna be doing, right? If you step on it, so you don't want to step on the fire. So they procced our passive for us. There it goes. Look, even if people stepped on it before, it still stays on there, right? So it's gonna stay there for a certain amount of turns. I believe it's 2. Yeah, it's gonna stay for 2 turns. And now we got his ultimate, guys. So as you guys can see, he has a decent range, so we're just gonna use it from here. His ultimate is actually called the Flames of the Sun, and it just does damage and gets rid of buffs, 2 buffs on the enemy, and leaves fire debuff on them, which is a burn debuff basically. Boom. So yeah, that's Adam for you, man. That's Adam for you. So we're gonna go ahead and show him off here, where it's only 4 people on the field, and we're gonna lock this in. We're not gonna have no leader skill buff, so you guys can see his damage, how it is, how I have it right now. And yeah, let's see how this goes. So we're gonna start off by doing, we can buff ourselves, right, but that'll be a wasted turn. So we'll just start off by doing some AoE damage so you guys can see how this goes. Now remember, guys, if they had buffs, it would have got rid of one of their buffs, and this is also gonna do damage by 1. So let's go ahead and show that off. Boom. Not too much damage, but we did get the Hourglass proc. This only needs 1 more turn to get cooldown, and so we'll be able to just use our other ability, and then that will come right off cooldown. So yeah, so let's go ahead and just take one of these guys out with Nola. Remember, guys, since it's AoE, it's not gonna do the most damage, right? But AoE damage is still good, especially if they have buffs and stuff. And it's good for spread damage, you know. So yeah, we are going to show off one of his single target abilities here, and see how that goes. But Charlotte is just going to work right now, kind of, you know, taking up the spotlight. You know, Charlotte, you know, you can scoot over there a little bit. I'm trying to show off Adam a little bit. All right, so let's see how this goes. Also, another thing I want to show is how if they hit Adam below 50% HP, he gets that 10% stat increase across the board on basically on all his stats, right, except his HP. So that's also really good. So let's go ahead and show off his damage here, his single target damage. Now we are using it against an element that is, you know, we have advantage on, and we're also getting the crit buff from Nola. So whatever, we're just still gonna do it either way, right? Let's just step up here, try to get closer to these guys. No crit buff at all. Let's just go ahead and do it. You know what? Let's no crit buff. Boom, 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 boom. Pretty decent damage, 2k, right? No attack buff or anything. Just, you know, just the way it is, right? Let's go ahead and take these guys out. Boom. Nah, that's it for this stage, but we'll go into another one to show you guys a little bit better. Okay, so we're actually gonna use the leader skill from Sigrid to get the 10% more bonuses all across our stats and 10% more damage during our active skills. And we are going against the green boss here, so this is very beneficial to use Adam here. Alright guys, so here we go with Sigrid buff and everything. Let's go ahead and stand on the crystals and give ourselves an attack buff. Now these crystals do give you another turn and they increase your damage. But let's step up here and just show you guys his active attack. And let's see if he crits or not. No crit. Without a crit, 3,500. Remember guys, the crystals do have a huge part of him being able to do that much damage. Actually, it doesn't really increase damage. All it does is just increase critical strike rate. So that was pure damage from him. Pure damage. Right? And that was just his regular ability. Our healer is the water element. And this is a lightning stage, so they definitely are going to go against our healer. But we got Gabriel to save ourselves here. Same thing here. You just get defended, and that's it for these guys. Now the crit buff, I'm gonna go ahead and give that to either Sigrid or Clarice. We're gonna step up. I think Clarice will be the first one to be able to get the crystals. So let's just have her have it. We will get a dodge here. If anything, we can dodge out. If anything, 3,200 active attack, not bad. We did have a dodge, so we're good there. I forgot we got to take these guys out. Alright, so in the meantime, Gabriel can take both of these guys out. Nice. And then we'll just step up here and we should be fine. I really do want... Okay, so if he brings us under half HP, this is great, because then he'll proc his passive now. So he's not going to get the magic attack boost because he's under 100. But now he's going to get the 10% boost and the buff of getting extra magic attack, because he's at over 50%. So we're actually going to show you guys one of his abilities here, which actually gives the buff to everyone around him. So let's go ahead and do this. He has to do the attack first. Boom, with the crit, 5,000 damage. Sheesh. All right guys, so now that we're about one range from him, I'll actually be able to do Adam will actually come inside and he will go and increase our damage by 10% more. So Sigrid is doing even more damage here because of him. So overall, very strong ability. As you guys can see, this guy's almost down and out. So I'm gonna kind of take it easy on them, right? Because I do want to showcase that other ability that Adam does have, where he can actually increase apply ignite on everyone. We'll go here just to defend everyone, and we'll just put the heal buff on us. So yeah, the passive on Adam made him 10% all stats all around, which made him hit even harder. I hope Gabriel doesn't take him out. I doubt it. Okay, perfect. And I think Adam will just go ahead and take him out here. So this, the good thing about this a ball of fire ability, it's single target, but it's 2 turns. And because it's 2 turns, and if our runes proc, it'll actually go on cooldown. Same with the ability, the Art of Good Fortune. These all can instantly proc off the runes that we put on him. And this is actually a good fire ability. We replaced the AoE with this one because it does a decent amount of damage, and it also applies ignite on someone for 2 turns. And what ignite does is does 12% reduction of up to the HP at the end of the action of the enemy. So very nice dot. Damage over time abilities in this game do hurt a lot. So there, let's go ahead and show this off. There it is, 5,800 crit, and then he would have had the fire debuff, which would have been really nice. As you guys can see, this is an early Adam build, and honestly, I think at the early game he's at his weakest. Now he becomes really strong, and he unlocks his full potential when he gets his last 2 abilities, which is his ultimate and that ability I showed you guys that leaves flame on the ground and does AoE abilities. Those are his prime abilities, guys. Even without those abilities, he's still hitting really hard, supports really well, great defenses, does a lot of damage, great unit, and that's why I rated him so high in my tier list. But that's it for Adam here for today, guys. I will show him off in another video where I'm doing some PvP. I don't want this video to be too long, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.